rolling. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakodash. A double honor to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us his truth and who rule well. Peace and love, salutation and mercy be unto the hopeful elect. And we're back again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And then transit lesson, and I got the brothers here with me, the brother Yakar, the brother Aina. We're just going to go through the spirit. We hope that this is edifying unto the elect. And the elect are sighing and crying and waiting patiently for the return of Yahweh Shai. But before Yahweh Shai comes, certain prophecies have to play out on the earth. So we're living in the midst of all of that. But soon, we'll be out of here. We'll be enjoying the kingdom of heaven. But this devil got to be a devil first. And he's being a devil, all right, by way of putting his system together, so that he could bring his NWO. Baba Kashai, can you read Psalms 94 and 20? He's framing a law by creating mischief. And what comes to mind, when that scripture comes up is, order ab ko, the Hegelian dialectic, which you hear the elders and apostles speak about that, all the time. So he's causing problems in the earth so that he can bring forth, all right, his laws. All right, so there's a decree right now for people to, get the Apostle Gabar calls it the Vicky. Other brothers call it the juice. And there was a news anchor who was doing the news, and he made a mistake and said euthanize. That people were getting the thing to become euthanized, but then he corrected himself. So you call that a Freudian slip, which someone will ultimately, they'll expose the truth through a Freudian slip. Sometimes, it's just a mistake. Sometimes brothers can say something, it's just, Satan. But then you have other situations like this one, when an individual makes a mistake and speaks the truth. There was something else not too long ago that was said by Joe Biden, and it was like a Freudian slip as well, but it was actually the truth. See, these devils, a lot of them are insiders, or have the inside scoop, if you will, and they know what's about to go down. They know what's about to happen, although they may say something else. And that's the reason why you can't believe this devil. And the scripture says, though he speak fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. You got that scripture?
Is that 49 and 20?
No, 94 and 20.
Oh, 94 and 20.
You got anything you call?
Wait to see if the spirit stays on that.
Yep, another scripture is the one in Psalms, the 64th chapter. They make their tongues to fall upon themselves. All right, there's a scripture in the book of Job, the 15th chapter, which after the brother read this one, Yahweh Ratazah, you can grab that one as well. Go ahead.
This is Psalms 49 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? Which frameth mischief by law.
Yep, so he's doing all of these things in the earth so that he can bring forth certain laws and decrees. All right, and whoever will not comply to those laws and decrees, guess what? They want to behead them. They want to put them to death. And that's the reason why the Apostle John, when he was on the Isle of Patmos, when he received the revelation from Yahweh Shai, all right, he saw, believers being beheaded, all right, for being faithful witnesses of Yahweh Shai and not recanting their faith, or denying Yahweh Shai. All right, they were being beheaded. And there's actual laws that were passed by Esau Edom to bring that form of judgment as a punishment. All right, see, Esau wants to put the believers in a category. He wants to lay a charge against them. When you go into Revelation, the 12th chapter, it speaks on how, the accuser of our brethren is brought down. All right, see, Esau wants to accuse you so that he can be justified in beheading you, to be justified in torturing you, to be justified in locking you up. All right, because ultimately, this goes back to that old feud between Jacob and Esau. And Esau knows that his time is short, and in order for him and his mind to achieve, staying in power, he has to bring certain things to pass, which is ultimately Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua that's making him bring it to pass.
And a lot of these Edomites, they, unlike Jake, a lot of these Edomites, especially these Proud Boy type, they understand that their kingdom is at hand and they're ready to fight for it. I don't know if it was you who shared in the group chat, but the cops in the car wash, they was basically saying that their kingdom was over in so many words. Right now you've got a trial with Kyle Rittenhouse, who actually, basically a teenager who actually took matters into his own hands, to basically grab his sword and, fight, for what he felt was, his cause, which is basically fight for America. So Esau actually understands that spirit of actually wanting to fight. And think about it, this is a little teenager. What teenage Jake really are actually understand that, understand that the spiritual war that they in. Esau, he already, Trump supporting all stuff like that. So Esau understands, what time it is. They understand, these actually mandates that's going on. A lot of these don't tread on me Edomites. There's a whole lot of E's that understand, that they're not supposed to be taken. And then there's a lot of E's that believe that this actually juice is actually, they believe it's actually the MOTB. And they adamant on not taking it, especially a lot of these E's down in the Bible Belt.
God, there's a lot of division that's going on amongst Esau. And that's ultimately Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua working. He said that he will bring the Egyptian against the Egyptian. You go to the book of Matthew, it tells you that a house divided against itself or a city divided against itself can't stand. So this country is completely divided against itself. All right, like the brother was explaining, you got a lot of Edomites who feel as if, their rulership is being threatened, that it's being taken away from them. And then you got other Edomites, who are down for the changes that are happening. So this place is completely divided. You got Edomites that are down for the thing, you got Edomites that are not down for the thing. But ultimately, when you look at certain news clips and things like that, Esau will make a mistake, and slip, and let you know what they're getting ready to do. Just like I think it was dark winter. That's what Biden said, that it's getting ready to be a dark winter. But there's other things that he said as well. When they just slip up and say something that they ain't supposed to be saying, out in the open. If you can grab the book of Job, the 15th chapter, and I want to say this maybe around the 4th verse. Baba Kashaf, if you can grab that.
15 and
4.
4. Yea, thou castest off fear and a stranger's prayer.
Go down one more verse.
Okay. This is Job 15:5. For thy mouth uttered thy iniquity.
Yep, for thy mouth uttered thy iniquity. Go ahead.
And thou choosest the tongue of the crafty.
Because Esau tries to get slick with his words too. Crafty, is going back to being sly, shrewd, all right, being cunning, all right, being slick in speech. Go ahead.
Thy own mouth condemn thee.
Yep, thine own mouth condemneth thee. Go ahead.
And not I yea, thy own lips testify against thee.
Yep, thy own lips testify against thee. So if you pay attention to the things that Esau say, all right, he's telling on himself. All right, he's telling on himself with this agenda. You know, you go back to the Bill Gates of hell and listen to the things that he was saying on TED. You know, if we do good by the Vicky, then we could reduce the world's population, or we can reduce the CO2 output. But basically, what's putting out that CO2? All right, it's human beings. But what doesn't make sense is, you know, these trees feed off the CO2, and in return, what do they give back to us? They give us oxygen. So really, this is just an agenda by the elites to destroy the population. All right, and why would they want to destroy the population? Does that mean that they know that they're Edomites? Does that mean that they know that the children of Israel are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth? Does that mean that they know that all Israel is not going to look like a so-called Negro? So they know that. And that's the reason why they have this agenda, you know, to pretty much give everybody the Vicky and eventually to give them the MOTB. All right? You got something to call?
I was about to mention that, you know, basically, the point that you were saying earlier, how, you know, setting Egyptians against the Egyptians, you know, and how, you know, and that's
you got the house of fire.
In a physical way, they're going to be against each other, but also, you know, like you also said, you know, they're against each other by their telephone on each other, you know, telling each other different branches, you know, of secret societies, you know, basically going back and forth. You know, you had that back in Greeks. You had the Greeks; they were, you know, fighting against each other. You know, the Romans, you know, they was Caesar got killed. They was, you know, all type of, you know, divisions among there. And then here it is, the same devil, 2021, having division amongst themselves.
Okay.
You know, you had a Facebook whistleblower. You know, you got, and most whistleblowers are Edomites. It's something I've always noticed. A lot of these whistleblowers, you know, be Edomites. You know, and that's scripture. Their tongues falling upon themselves.
Okay.
You know, and just to paraphrase what was basically said earlier, is, you know, basically a house divided itself, you know, cannot stand.
Mm-hmm.
So Satan's house is not going to be able to stand. You know, if Satan, you know, if Satan is actually, you know, going against himself, you know, just think about how much more so if they hate each other, how much more so they hate, you know, us, you know, Israelites, you know, because there's been some bloody wars. I think Alexander Hamilton, the dude in the $10 bill, he was pieced up. He got, you know, his brains blew out by another Edomite. You know, so Edomites, you know, they have no problem fighting each other. You know, so they damn sure, you know, won't have no problem, you know, coming up against us Israelites.
God, and that spirit that's inside of them is that spirit going back to Cain. All right, which Cain is name mean what? Weapon, if I'm not mistaken. You know, which and he killed his brother. All right, he changed that way of life. That was that simple way of life. You know, because of him, marriages were changed. All right, they warred against each other. They filled the earth with corruption, with rapine, and that's the same spirit that Esau is in now. You know, so Esau is divided, you know, amongst each other. You know, within the political sphere, you know, they're divided against each other. You know, when you go to the different nations of Edomites that exist, they're divided against each other. So how can their kingdom stand? It can't. Which ultimately means what? That it's going to be brought to desolation. Can you read that scripture? 45?
I got it. This is Matthew 12 and and 25.
25.
And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. If Satan cast out Satan, and his house is divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand?
So that's the point being is a kingdom divided against itself can't stand. So Esau kingdom can't exist because it's divided against itself. All right, you go into Daniel's, you got the 10 toes, partly mire, partly clay. All right, you got nations within Europe that's divided against each other. All right, rich nations versus poorer nations, but you're all supposed to be the same people. So they're divided against themselves on all levels, man.
That's basically what I got. This is Revelation 17 and 16. It says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest," the 10 horns are the EU nations. "In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," because a horn is used for a weapon. The beast being American. Lets you know that these horns are attached to the beast. "Which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So that's a terrible hatred. You had also in Daniel, you had basically America subdued, 3 kings. More wars fighting against each other. So America has a long history of nothing but wars, even with themselves.
Hey, but a war on the magnitude of great destruction hasn't happened on this land yet. And that's the reason why it's known as being a virgin, all right, the virgin daughter of Babylon. All right, but that virgin isn't going to be a virgin for much longer. All right, that virgin is getting ready to get touched. All right, you're about to get penetrated with thermonuclear missiles, in an abundance. All right, to the point where this place is going to be left as a smoking monument of destruction. All right, Satan is getting ready to fall from heaven. And not Satan in the regard of the spiritual demon Satan. All right, but when you look up Satan in the blue letter Bible, you got Satanus, which is a Satan-like man, or a person that's playing the part of Satan, an adversary. And who is that in the earth? That's the Edomites, beginning with the rich and deep banking families. All right, so your time and your rulership is up. All right, there's a decree that was determined or determination upon the allotment of time that you were able to rule over. Why in the hell would Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua promising this earth to Jacob, all right, the 12 tribes of Jacob, which are the 12 tribes of Israel, allow you to rule any longer? It tells you in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, that unless these days be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. All right, hell, the Lord has to hurry up and take you down. All right, because if he didn't, on the track that you're heading on, it wouldn't be anything for the tribes to inherit. All right, and the Lord is going to keep his oath. All right, he's going to keep his promise that he promised to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so you have to hurry up and be taken down. Baba Kashai, can you read Job, the 14th chapter?
I know.
You have to hurry up and be taken down. All right, your time has been appointed unto you. It's been determined. All right, it's been chosen for you. All right, and your time of ruling over the earth is at an end. But you know that, so you're trying to do whatever it takes to extend a moment longer to your rulership, which will not be allowed to happen. All right, everything that you're going to do from this moment is going to further cause prophecy to be fulfilled and further lead yourself to your demise. Go ahead.
Job 14 and 5. Seeing his days are determined, and the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed the bounds that he cannot pass.
The same way that You know, the water is bound by a perpetual decree. You know, it can't pass the shore. You know, it can't go onto land. Why? Because it's bound. So Esau is bound the same way. All right, the Lord has given you a determined allotment of time that you can't go beyond. And whatever you try to do, no matter what you try to do, you still won't be able to go past that decree. So the scripture says that he's about to come down with great wrath because he knows that he has a short time. So he's going to do whatever means necessary, even if that means becoming very physical, you know, and murdering people. All right, he's going to do that, hoping desperately that he can add more time to his rulership. But that still is going to cause you, you know, you're still not going to prosper. You're still going to fail. You got something you call? Go ahead, Aina.
This is Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so the heads cannot perform their enterprise.
God, keep going.
And he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. Another
word for headlong is thwarted. You know, when you thwart something, you cause it to cease. You stop it, all right, from happening. So his plans are being thwarted. All right, they're being stopped. All right, and how is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai stopping them? By making things happen in the earth that cause them to hurry up. All right, to haste, to make haste, to try to hurry up and bring something to pass. It doesn't turn out the way that they want it to. All right, Satan giving them counsel on the left-hand side is deceiving them. All right, Esau is just miserable. All right, he's in a miserable place because he wants something so bad, but he won't be able to obtain it. No, that's it. You know, so your enterprise is being thwarted. All right, it's not going to come to pass. It's not going to happen. You got it. Call.
This is Revelations chapter 9 verse. Let's lock it up now. Revelations chapter 11 verse. Start with verse 5, taking to 6. It says,
we'll end it after this one.
Oh, this is
okay.
Revelation chapter 5 verse 6. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. So as right now, you know, it says Satan, he's basically killing, amongst himself. Eventually, he's going to try to implement, his agenda to where he's going to basically try to destroy, Israel. But as according to the scripture says, Esau won't be able to basically, his hand's not going to perform his enterprise. So part of the things that's going to, disrupt it, you're going to have Michael the Archangel. It's going to disrupt it, the angels. You're going to have, miracles, fire coming down from heaven. So there's going to be plenty of stuff that's going to, stop Esau. Reading on, it says, these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, which this also goes back to Elijah, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that sinneth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and kill them. Actually, that's pretty much it. Verse 6 is jumped. Basically because it jumped. But that's it on that one.
Okay. So yeah, Esau's about to roll, on Israel. There's about to be an attack on the church. But whatever you do, whatever you do and however you try to do it, it's gonna fail. You know, and you're gonna be paid back for all of the things that you do against Israel. You know, so with that, hey, we truly hope that this lesson was edifying. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah Kodash. A double honors be unto our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who taught us his truth, and who will peace and love, salutation, mercy be unto the hopeful elect. A shalom and a Bible ball.
Shalom, Bible ball.